Welcome to Medicine, Motherhood, and Missions, the podcast where we dive deep into impactful and inspiring conversations with amazing professionals who've turned their challenges into stepping stones for success. I'm Johanna, your host, and each time we meet, we'll explore the stories and journeys of remarkable individuals who are PAs, doctors, professionals, mothers, and mission-driven changemakers, from the halls of the hospitals to the hearts of our homes, and into the communities we serve. Join us as we uncover the challenges, triumphs, and everything in between and see life through each other's perspective. If you're seeking fulfillment in your career and life, I've got something special for you too. Download our free guide on how to be a fulfilled provider. It's packed with tips and insights to help you thrive while balancing the many hats you wear. And for all those parents out there dreaming big while raising little ones, check out Little Evie's Big Dreams children's book series, available now on Amazon. These heartwarming stories inspire kids to chase their own dreams, just like you're chasing yours. So grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea, settle in, and get ready for uplifting conversations that will leave you inspired and equipped to make a greater impact. Let's jump in. Hey guys, so just a little brief intro for this episode. Sometimes life has a way of weaving together stories of resilience in the most unexpected ways. And this episode is a testament to that. I sat down with PA and now health coach Amy Dave. She's a truly remarkable guest who has faced cancer twice, walked through the heartbreak of infertility, and yet has risen out of the ashes like a phoenix. Her journey is one of hope, strength, and unwavering faith. As we were recording this powerful conversation, life threw me an unexpected curveball, a health crisis with my own husband that abruptly paused our episode. He himself had battled and conquered cancer twice, yet an unexpected and unnecessary complication occurred during the recording of this episode. That week, as I waited in the emergency department and hospitals, her story kept coming to mind, reminding me of the strength we find in the hardest moments. When we resumed our conversation days later, it was as if her message of overcoming had gained even more depth. I'm so honored to share this inspiring dialogue with you. It's a testament to perseverance, grace, and finding beauty in the ashes. I hope that you really listen to this episode and learn that you too can overcome whatever life's challenge may come your way. You can keep holding on to hope. You can keep rising from the ashes, just like Amy and just like my husband. Thank you so much. Here's the episode. Hi friends, I'm so excited to have with me today Amy Dave. She is a PAC, physician assistant, for over 20 years. She is also a women's wellness coach specializing in helping moms navigate through this crazy life by syncing their daily habits with their monthly cycles. She's a mom of 3 boys, and Amy realized her passion while making changes to improve her own symptoms. Using lifestyle changes, Amy helps women overcome chronic fatigue, frustration, stress, and feelings of overwhelm, replacing them with increased energy, efficiency, and empowerment. Amy is a cancer coach, and she is a 2-time cancer survivor and a PA with oncology experience. Amy has a unique dual perspective to help cancer patients as a coach. Amy shows clients how lifestyle changes can help them optimize recovery times during cancer treatments and how to get back on track after completing the treatments. So it's my pleasure to introduce Amy and have her on the podcast. Thank you so much, Amy, for joining me today and coming to share your story and journey. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and share a little bit about your journey?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I love the mission that you're doing for the kids in Sri Lanka, so kudos to you for that.
Thank you so much.
My father was a doctor, and I knew I wanted to go into medicine at an early age. I graduated from PA school in 2001, and this was back when it was still a bachelor's degree straight out of high school. Mm-hmm. And I've always been big on preventive medicine. Mm-hmm. But I learned very quickly in clinical practice that I couldn't help people the way I wanted to. A 15-minute time slot is not enough time to teach on lifestyle changes. We make quick recommendations like you need to lose weight or stop smoking, but the patients leave the office and have no idea how to start the process, right? They feel overwhelmed and then they do nothing. And you see them back in 3 months and nothing has changed. So I knew that was a challenge, but at that time I didn't know how to fix it. When I had my kids, I became a stay-at-home mom for almost 10 years. And during that time, I went back to school to get my master's degree. And they had also offered me an advanced certificate in nutrition at that time. So it was in those nutrition classes where I first learned about the specialty of functional medicine. And I was really intrigued by using lifestyle changes to prevent and treat illnesses. But after school, I found a job in hematology oncology, and I still couldn't use any of my nutrition knowledge to help the patients. So I decided to become a wellness coach, and I did a 1-year coaching program, and I started my own business about 18 months ago.
That's amazing. And I mean, even though it's in that little paragraph you shared, it's so much packed in there. I mean, you went through cancer, you raised 3 boys amidst all of this, and started working as a PA. You went on to the master's degree and also a nutrition certification that was included in your master's degree, or?
Yep.
Oh, that's amazing. And so that's a really unique perspective. Tell us a little bit about what did you find was most important, and what was the most important thing that helped you during your cancer journey itself, going through, life, marriage, kids, and then what was so important that helped you through everything and going through cancer?
So first and foremost, it was my family support. I was fortunate enough to have a lot of support, and I didn't have to worry about things like cooking or taking care of the kids when I was recovering from treatment. So I'm really grateful to everyone who helped me in my time of need. And this is actually kind of an interesting story, but between the 2 bouts of cancer, treatments for infertility, having the 3 kids, I saw a lot of doctors. I took tons of medications. I've had too many procedures to count. And at some point, I began telling my husband that I'm like the mythical creature, a phoenix.
Yeah.
And when a phoenix gets old, she burns away, and then she's reborn from her ashes. And I kind of took that on as my life mantra, like as life's challenges burn me down, I'm going to rise from the ashes.
Yeah.
And I took it upon myself to become stronger and more powerful than each time before that. So each hospital stay I had, each procedure, it was like a burning day for a phoenix. And I came out of it a better and stronger person.
Man, that is just so amazing. I mean, the strength in how you're saying that, it just speaks volumes, because that perspective is such a difficult one for many to undertake sometimes, thinking of all the struggle, all the pain that you have to go through, which each, chemo, and then you even said infertility, yet for you to think of it as a phoenix rising out of the ashes and you becoming stronger, that just is inspirational and amazing. And I think, that is a huge encouragement to a lot of people out there who have gone through similar things. And, for them to hear you saying that you thought of yourself to be stronger, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. I just am amazed at that, Amy. It was so wonderful and so beautiful, and your strength is so encouraging.
Aw, thank you. So when I started my business, I knew I wanted to have a phoenix in my logo.
Yeah.
And my son actually designed the one that I have currently. So.
Oh, I love it. I saw it. I was like, wow, it's beautiful. He's talented.
Yes.
And so having gone through the two cancer diagnoses, and how did you face it with marriage, motherhood, and work?
Well, like I said, I had a lot of support at home. The first time around, I had a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I was diagnosed about 4 months after my wedding. So I was born and raised in New York. We had just moved up to Boston, and when I got the diagnosis, I moved back in with my parents because my dad, being a physician, knew the local doctors and the hospitals and things. So I moved back home. My husband was doing his job in Boston. He would come down for the weekends. And we lived like that for 6 or 7 months while I was getting the chemotherapy. And then finally, I moved back to Boston to get the radiation therapy over there. But that was just a challenge just because it was the first year of marriage and everything else. I was in the process of finding a new job in Boston, so I wasn't working at the time, which was helpful. And then the second time around, I had breast cancer, and I had 3 little kids at home, and they were all in, 2 of them were in elementary school, and I think the third one was still in preschool. So I wasn't working at the time. I was still a stay-at-home mom, but again, I had surgery. So when post-op days, my mom, came and stayed with me for 3 weeks. It was a lot, but I had a lot of support and help that got me through it.
Yeah. Thankful for community and family. That makes a huge difference, especially when you're going through these difficult things. And so with work, I know the cancer diagnosis kind of changed things, and then having children. But you started off as a PA in 2021, right? And did you work for a while? And when did you go back to hematology exactly? Was it after the kids were grown up a little bit more, or?
Yeah, so I graduated in 2001, so 20 something years ago. But I did a year in family practice, and then I had gotten married and moved to Boston. So I didn't work for a good year and a half during my treatments at that time. And then I was fortunate to get a job in radiation oncology after that. When I became a mom, I left that job and I was home. And then after I decided to go back to work, I got a job in hematology oncology. So it was actually very random that most of my career was spent in oncology fields.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
Wasn't planning that way, but that's the way it worked out.
Sometimes life hands you your journey to your right. And
yes, and in retrospect, yes, it all was pieces of the puzzle that made me the coach that I am today.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's kind of worthwhile to mention that, as moms or, in life, we start off working and have these dreams and things, but, life may happen, but doesn't mean that those things stop because of something that happens or motherhood. Because you can always step back into different roles or get back into work even after time off. And so that's kind of also worthwhile mentioning and, talking about is how life doesn't have to stop completely because of a bad diagnosis or change completely or, work doesn't have to completely end if you don't want it to after motherhood either.
Oh, yeah. One of my mentors, she always says, everything happens for you, not to you. And so you may not recognize it at the time, but there will be a point in time where you'll go back and say, oh, yes, these were all pieces that helped me become the person I am today.
Yeah, it's amazing. And your life is an example of that. And what was a key to helping you change your lifestyle? Did it come immediately or over time? It's hard to incorporate new habits. So what made it easy for you to make these changes?
Well, like I said, I've always been big on preventive medicine, and I thought I was practicing healthy habits all along, but it turns out I was not. I was eating way too many salads and not enough nutrient-dense foods, and I was exercising too much, actually, and the 60-minute workouts were raising my cortisol levels, which was preventing weight loss and not letting me sleep enough. So I had a lot of issues. During COVID quarantine, actually, I decided to research how to improve my PMS symptoms. I was having a lot of severe symptoms every month. I was kind of done with it. So I started reading and learning, and I came across the idea of cycle syncing. And I, did some research. I got a lot of information on it, but I didn't really implement the changes that I had read about until I ended up in the ER one day. Long story short, it turned out to be a false alarm. But while I was in my gown and the PA was examining me, I knew I had to make some changes in my daily habits. I had 3 little kids, and, you're a mom. I have to be here for them.
Yeah.
So within 3 to 4 months of making the changes and starting to sync with my cycle, most of my PMS symptoms went away, actually. And I felt so much better. And, these days my cycles are mostly symptom-free, but if I deviate too much from my healthy eating plan, then I do get some symptoms, but they're much milder than they used to be. So I hope, hitting rock bottom was the trigger for me, but I hope that's not the way for everybody.
One moment. This is the continuation of the episode that was interrupted. So, Amy, can you tell us a little about what was the key to helping you change your lifestyle? As it's hard to incorporate new habits, what made it easy for you to incorporate these new changes?
Yeah. So within 3 to 4 months of making changes and cycle syncing, my PMS symptoms went away. And now, these days, my monthly cycle is mostly symptom-free, but I do get some occasional cramping and bloating if I deviate too much from my healthy eating plan. But the symptoms are so much milder than they used to be. And I now know that I just thought it was a part of life, right? Every month you get bloating, cramping, pain, irritability, and now I don't have it. And I was like, oh, wow, things can change. So I always recommend to my clients that you're making one change at a time. You're starting slow, you're moving gradually. And those are the best things for long-term sustainable results.
So what is cycle syncing?
So in a nutshell, your body has 4 phases of the menstrual cycle, which we get a brief introduction to in PA school. But the follicular phase, ovulation, the luteal phase, and menstruation. And in each phase, because your body's doing something different, you need different nutrients, you need to do different exercises, you need to fill your social calendar differently. So I'll give you an example of each. Like in the luteal phase, you naturally crave sugars. So if you're filling that craving with simple carbohydrates, that's not going to help. But if you're eating things like roasted sweet potatoes or roasted butternut squash, which are naturally sweet, and the roasting increases that, it satisfies your craving without giving you, unnecessary empty calories.
Right.
Same thing with exercise. In the first 2 weeks, the follicular phase and ovulation, you have more energy naturally. So you want to do things like cardio and high intensity interval training. And then in the luteal phase, your energy comes down a little bit. So you want to focus on strength training. And then during your bleed, you want to keep it easy, either gentle yoga or a brisk walk. So it's all living healthy and doing the right things, but it's what foods do you focus on in each week and how you're varying your exercises.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I have been kind of hearing a little bit more of this cycle syncing. It's being phrased or advertised in different ways, but but it's definitely something that is important because I don't think we, as females, really have ever understood or taken advantage of understanding that our bodies are a little different, and the cycles we do go through do affect, like, and each, as you said, the energy, the way we are able to kind of like feel, during the month, it changes. And it's really interesting to kind of, now that we're kind of understanding that more, and these things are a little bit more out there for us to be more aware of, that we can kind of, take these steps to incorporate routines that may help us adjust to each cycle. I really, really like this because, it's so true. We go through these changes each month, but we just kind of like feel like, well, I guess it's just part of the process. Yep. Without actually understanding, like, hey, we can actually implement ways to kind of work with these and kind of strengthen ourselves despite the feelings of lows and highs in between, right?
Yep. And so, like, one of the biggest changes I saw was, like I said, I used to have terrible monthly cramps. I was on the painkillers all day for a couple of days, the heating pad, all of this. Yeah. And then I learned that, so inflammatory foods like dairy, gluten, fried foods, processed foods, increase inflammation, which causes cramping. And I was like, So I didn't even eliminate all of it. I just cut back and I noticed changes, right? And now, like in the spring, we had a very busy spring. We had a vacation and a milestone birthday for my husband. So there was a lot of parties and not so great eating. And yes, in June, I had more cramps than usual, but I understood why.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really an interesting topic. And I think you find it right now in the holistic and wellness arenas, but hopefully it'll get to the medical areas soon.
Yeah. Because I think, like, if we are able to understand our bodies a little bit more, like in regards to what helps us kind of reduce the bloating or reduce like these symptoms, then we're thinking about it a little bit more medically. So hopefully it can be a little bit more of a medical scientific method that we're using to heal and help ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So, in regards to these changes and things, how did you go back to, like, your cancer previous diagnoses and incorporating changes with that history that you knew, that you had cancer, incorporating like diet changes with that in mind as well, or?
Yeah, I think it was more of a holistic approach. Like, I just want to be healthier overall. So I changed my diet. I changed the way I exercise. I changed my sleeping routines and habits. I've been practicing a lot of different ways to reduce stress. And I've also done a lot of work in the last 2 years on personal growth and, mindset changes, just changing the way I see life.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more grateful for things than I used to be.
Yeah.
And just appreciating each day and each moment, not really worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow or, because that doesn't help. We know the risk factors for cancer, right? Unhealthy diet, sedentary lifestyle, stress, all of these things play a role. So I think it was more like putting all the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah, for sure. And I 100% agree with that too, because as you know, my husband had a history of cancer. And so we too, I think that's even why I started this, podcast, is realizing that, you may as well just start things and go forward, move forward with life and, get on those dreams and desires, because you never know what life will throw at you. But you just got to keep going, keep persisting, keep moving forward. And just, have a positive, mindset that can kind of give you strength to keep forward, So I definitely agree with that.
Yep. Like you're always talking about, we have to keep the faith, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep the faith, because if we don't have a faith or something to trust in this life, the journey is so lonely, right?
Yes.
And it gets so hard. And so you have to have something that you can hold on to keep pushing forward. But, and I think this kind of brings up like your wellness coaching, because the things that you've learned, you've now developed into a way to kind of coach others and help others as well.
Yeah. So I have two different routes that I coach women on, but I work with cancer patients, both those who have a new diagnosis, and I just help them navigate through all the different treatments and side effects and emotions and all this, craziness that goes on. And then once they finish the treatments, I help them start on their wellness journey.
Yeah.
And then I also teach women on cycle syncing. So I work with them and I educate them. I teach them on which changes would affect which symptoms and things like that.
Yeah. And how have you liked that journey of starting this business and the coaching?
I love it. When I was working as a PA, I was only going in part-time hours. And I really loved my job. I had a great staff. It was close to home, accommodating for family and school events and things. But I realize now that I was burnt out, but I didn't know it at the time. But there was no room for personal growth or professional growth, right? We didn't have any students to mentor. So I was kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And I was just going to work to get a paycheck.
Yeah.
Whereas now I wake up and I'm excited and I'm like, ooh, what can I teach somebody today? Or what can I help somebody with? So it's just a different shift in the perspective of work.
I love that, because I think of course, everyone has to pay bills somehow, but when you get to the root of it, like what we really find appealing and joyful and energetic about our work and work life is whether we're growing or not, right?
Yes.
And whether we're able to kind of go to new levels. And if we're not, then we feel so stagnant and burned out.
Yep.
And I think that's so key to always remembering and keeping in mind in your jobs is like, are you stagnant? Are you growing? Then you have to kind of look for what you need to change. And so I love that how you kind of have started with this new journey and change, and you're loving it. And it sounds so needed and necessary, especially to have coaches that have experiences that you've gone through, so you understand and exactly what you're talking about, like, because you've experienced it in your own life.
Well, I don't know if I told you, but I also worked in oncology.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So I have both work experience and personal experience. So it's kind of an interesting,
exactly.
Yeah,
perspective. For sure. Yeah. And you mentioned biohacking. So what is biohacking? How do we start it, incorporate, and understand this concept?
So I had looked up the definition of biohacking, and there's a lot of different things out there, but I saw one that I liked. It was in Medical News Today, and it says, biohacking involves someone making incremental changes to their body, diet, and lifestyle to improve their health and well-being. And I think it's an intentional way of living because we make thousands and thousands of decisions every day, right? From what are we going to wear to what we're going to say to what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And, you want to be aware of the consequences of your actions. So as I mentioned earlier, right, if I'm eating fried foods, I know I'm going to have monthly cramps that month, right? But it's, one, the awareness of it, and two, making a intentional decision to say, you know what, I'm going to skip that mozzarella stick today.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat it.
As much as I want to.
Yes. And sometimes I say, you know what, I'm going to eat it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. So it's kind of also like a mindset as well.
Yes.
In order to help us change our habits.
Yes. So I think you have to really develop a healthy relationship with your body, mm-hmm. right? Some people, they exercise to work off the calories, mm-hmm. where it's almost like a punishment.
Right.
Right? Whereas if you say, no, I'm exercising to keep my body strong, mm-hmm. it kind of shifts your mindset and your thinking about why you're doing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, because I think like a lot of people think of exercise as punishment.
Yes.
Sometimes because, or, we're just like, we're too busy. But you know what? We're actually not as busy as we sometimes think, or maybe some people really are busy. But there's always a way to incorporate things or change things if we really, really wanted to.
Yep. And I actually say, even if you can find 5 to 10 minutes, mm-hmm. there's things you can do.
Yeah.
You just break it up throughout the day. It doesn't have to be a 30-minute workout, mm-hmm. but it can be 3 10-minute things that you're doing.
Yeah. Just to keep active.
Yep.
Yeah. So how would you encourage those who are or have gone through cancer?
For those who are undergoing treatments, mm-hmm. I would say just take it one day at a time. Mm-hmm. Learn to recognize and manage your emotions, because there will be a whole range of them. Learn about your cancer from reliable sources. Google can be a good thing or a bad thing, but mm-hmm. If you're getting information from reliable sources, at least you're making informed decisions mm-hmm. and being an active participant in your treatment plan.
Yeah.
And then get support from family, friends, from your local community, mm-hmm. Even an online group. Mm-hmm. So I'm in an online group for breast cancer patients right now, and they're so supportive and helpful of each other. They answer questions. They say, oh, I had the same experience. And I think it just helps them all.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I would recommend is practicing either yoga or deep breathing exercises or meditation to help reduce the increased anxiety and stress mm-hmm. that you are guaranteed to feel during this time. Mm-hmm. And then if you're done with treatments and you want to start on your wellness journey, just start making small changes, mm-hmm. gradually, one step at a time. And, after a while, you'll start seeing big results. And like I said, I teach both of those things in my courses. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I have to say, Amy, I know, just to bring this up, that you are so encouraging. And I hope that people really listen to this episode and listen to that first part of our conversation where you were talking about how you found strength to go forward and move on and grow despite all the setbacks that life had thrown at you, because we actually, started this podcast session about a week ago, and my husband's had a sudden health concern that suddenly had me stop our podcast recording, and your words were always going through my head that whole time when I had to help him. And the strength that you have inside of you from going through these difficulties and living out these challenges, and somehow you have able to, change your mindset and focus on the positives and have that gratitude despite everything you've gone through. That encouraged me and helped me so much. And I'm so glad that we can come back today and finish our podcast episode, because yes. I really admire the strength that is in you. Because I know that going through cancer is not easy. Because I saw my husband go through chemo and all of that too. And it takes a lot of guts, a lot of strength, a lot of bravery to even take the step to move forward. And so I really am amazed at what you've accomplished. And now that you're a coach and a wellness and health coach, I really hope that people realize what a great asset you would be for them.
Aw, thank you. I'm so glad I was able to help you through a stressful situation. So
yeah, for sure. It was a great encouragement. And how would you encourage moms and women in their health and wellness?
So there's two statements that I use when I'm talking to others. And the first one we've heard when we travel on an airplane, and they always say, put your own oxygen mask on first before helping others. Right? And the second one we hear is you can't give from an empty cup.
Yeah.
So the idea is you want to really take care of yourself first, so you have the energy to take care of others.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because there's no way we can ever help our families if we're not well.
Yeah, if we're running on empty, we can't help anybody else.
Yeah, and that's like just not physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, in every way.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you leave us with any other few encouraging words for those who are pursuing new businesses and starting something new?
Sure. Find your passion and turn it into a purpose. And I think you're on the track of doing that. So that's really great. Never stop learning is the other one. So get a mentor, read books, listen to podcasts, learn something new every day. And, follow people who inspire you and support other women who are in the same boat.
Yeah. Yeah. I think supporting and encouraging others is so key because when you encourage somebody else, then it just comes back to you in a way because you're then kind of spreading that goodness and kindness out there. Yeah. Thank you so much, Amy. I feel like we need to do another podcast because I need to learn more from you about more of the cycle syncing and biohacking next time.
Yeah, definitely.
But I really appreciate your time and appreciate all that you have done for others. And I know that so many will be encouraged and impacted by your coaching and your insight. And so I will be leaving all of Amy's website and contact information under the episode notes. So please check it out. Check Amy's business out, her women's wellness coaching, and see how she can help you and restore your health and wellness and continue in a empowered lifestyle.
Thank you so much, Joanna, for having me today.
Yeah, of course. No problem. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope that you can spark hope wherever you are and have a spark of hope to help you in your health and wellness. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Medicine Motherhood Missions. We hope you found inspiration, insight, and a sense of connection in the stories we shared today. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners like you. Follow us on Instagram for updates, free downloads, and to join a community of like-minded individuals passionate about making a difference through medicine, motherhood, and mission work. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Until next time, keep sparking hope, keep healing, keep nurturing, and keep making a difference. This is Johanna signing off from Medicine Motherhood Missions. The medical opinions expressed on this podcast are for the informational purposes only and should not be considered as medical advice. Always consult a licensed healthcare provider for personal medical questions or concerns. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the podcast host.